everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. Since last week I talked about some groups that do more detailed, heavy concepts, I thought I would talk about groups that do lighter, kind of bright, fun concepts. This isn't really like related to that necessarily, other than I got the idea for this video from doing that video, because it's not like I could do a video of groups who just do dark concepts in general. Like that last video, there were groups that do lighter concepts, but they're still very well thought out and like detailed and stuff. Like I wasn't necessarily just talking about like dark, edgy concepts, even though that may have seemed like that. But this video is just about groups who consistently keep doing more vibrant and like youthful concepts. I hope that kind of all makes sense because I'm having a really hard time explaining what I'm actually trying to say. But let's just get right into it before I ramble on more and make even less sense. The first group that came to mind when I thought of doing this video was 17. And they did just recently do more of an edgy concept, but they are well known for doing these light and youthful kind of concepts where it's very airy is really the only way I can think of to describe it. And 17 is really well known for keeping things lighter and more free, like youthful, but like I don't really know if there's a way to describe it necessarily. There are quite a few groups that do this kind of thing, which is why this video is happening right now, because I was actually able to think of more than like 3. But I think 17 is probably the most well known for it because they have almost never really strayed away from their kind of young, but not really young. I feel like I'm going to be using the same 3 words. Bright, fun, and youthful. Like, that's all I can really think of to describe it, but they aren't like playful concepts necessarily. Some of them are more serious, but they're all very just easygoing, I guess. Next is probably a really obvious one as well. I think Astro has gained this reputation because not only did they pretty much all kind of debut young. I mean, not really, but a couple of them were pretty young. But they've kind of kept this image for themselves of not really being too serious, but also having the potential to be serious if they wanted to. I think All Night was a really good direction for them as far as like growing as a group and like just growing up in general, but staying true to their concepts. And I think that they're going to keep doing that kind of thing more, and they may change the concepts in the future. They may try darker stuff, but for now they're more well known for doing fun and colorful and just bright and like happy kind of concepts. Number 3 is Twice, and I think this one is also really obvious because Twice gets so much shit for not changing their concept like ever. Fancy was kind of in the direction of changing their concept, but not really. It's still really true to the Twice image as a whole, and I have never had a problem with Twice keeping these kind of like bubblegum, cutesy, more fun concepts, because that just feels like what Twice is as a group, and that fits them really well, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And I think people need to give them just a little bit of a break because they do it really well. Number 4 is Golden Child, and they are probably the newest group I think on this list. I'm pretty sure they are, and they haven't had very many comebacks so far, but thus far, and as I'm filming this, I think they actually just had a comeback either yesterday or today. I haven't checked it out yet. Based on the teasers, they have continually just stayed in this happy, youthful, fun place as far as their concepts, and I think they'll probably stay there for a little while because they do have some younger members, and I've always kind of gotten irritated. I think I mentioned it in my pet peeves video when people pressure groups to grow up too fast, and just because they have members who are kind of old enough to do sexy concepts, they expect that from them. But I think it's really nice when some of these groups just kind of let themselves grow naturally, like 17 has done. So I think Golden Child is going to stay where they are for kind of a little while longer, at least another maybe year or 2. hopefully, because I really enjoy these kind of concepts and I want to see my favorite groups keep them for as long as possible. Number 5 I was slightly unsure about, but as far as I have seen, Momoland has a lot of fun with their concepts, and even before Boom Boom they had a song, I can't think of what it was called at the moment, I think it had banana in the title. It was also really poppy and fun and just goofy even, and I know a lot of girl groups seem to continually do like cute concepts and stuff like that, but as I was thinking it over, there were always at least like one concept change as far as girl groups. Like they debut doing one thing and then they change it eventually, or they keep doing one thing for a long time and then they switch to something else and then they go back to what they were doing. Like they're kind of inconsistent about it, but as far as I've seen, Momoland has stayed pretty consistent. So that was why I included them, but I could have missed something, and if I did, I'm really sorry. Lastly, I debated including this group because sometimes I get the mindset that like, well, literally everybody knows who they are. And if people are going to check them out, they probably already have, but I'm including them anyway because they deserve a shout out for, and like some recognition for what they do. So BTS is the last group in this video that I'm going to talk about, and I feel like they're pretty self-explanatory. Kind of what you see is what you get with BTS. And they did do some like more edgy stuff in the beginning with like No More Dream and No, I think was Boy in Love the one I'm thinking about, I don't know, but they have in more recent years been consistent with doing these super like high contrast kind of in your face concepts that are super bright, and like they have had some concepts in the past where they had like dark storylines and things were still very like light. The storyline was dark and the, you know, the visuals weren't, but they're kind of back to doing more upbeat and like just, I don't even know, I'm trying to think of the word for all of this, but light concepts, I don't know. But if you haven't checked out BTS and you're afraid to for whatever reason, or you just kind of write them off for whatever reason, I suggest that you throw away any preconceived ideas that you had about them. Go into it with an open mind and see what you think, because you might be very pleasantly surprised. I used to love BTS and I just don't listen to them anymore, but that's not because I don't like them. I just don't really, you know, vibe with that kind of music anymore, I guess. I don't know. I did make a ranty kind of video about some topics relating to BTS that I haven't posted because I don't know if I want to, but I want BTS to have the credit that they deserve because they've worked for it. So check them out if you haven't, please. If you don't want to, then that's totally fine. That's the end of this video. I'm aware that there are probably so many other groups that I didn't include in this. Like, it's impossible for me to know every single one, or for me to just like talk about them all. So I apologize if one of your favorites that you think deserved to be in this video wasn't. It was nothing personal. But, you know, just look around in K-pop. You'll always find light concepts. Like, that's a really common thing. I talked about the like heavier concept groups in my last video because that's not quite as common. But I wanted this to be kind of a starting point for some fans if they don't know a whole lot of groups yet. And if they like BTS, check out the other groups that I mentioned in this video. You'll probably like them too, you know? Just have an open mind. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.